Hey everybody, this is Bruce from History Connections. I'm coming to you to talk to you about history preservation and conservation. Some of you have asked about what I do. I'm a history teacher, and I've been teaching for about 21 years now. And I try to teach my class how to preserve relics from the past, antiquities from the past, and also how to research people from the past. And I thought I would share with you a little bit of what I teach my kids. So what I'm going to be showing you today is real short and to the point, and what we use is a simulation based on the fact that I deal with a lot of teenagers. And since we do deal with a lot of teenagers, using the actual materials would be very costly to us. So when I'm doing actual preservation, I will use actual materials. So here we have an actual World War II sergeant's shirt that is actual named. As you can see from the material, is very stained. It's not well kept, and that's okay. A lot of these materials are not going to be perfect. But as you can tell, it's named because we do have, it came with the dog tags. And that's important sometimes to have the name. Now in the description, I'm going to have a link that's going to have a wakelet, which is a list of websites that will have access to where you can get the materials you need for preservation, conservation, and also documents to help you catalog and preserve. First thing you want is to always wear gloves. Okay? Usually you want to wear white cotton gloves. They are very expensive for us here, so usually I use the little nylon gloves. They're just easier for us, especially to dispose of, especially with COVID. And we don't have a lot of kids anymore because of COVID. Now, when it comes to textiles, there's a lot of processes that you can go through. And what I like to use is the National Park Service or the National World War II Museum or the Smithsonian Museum's guidelines. The main thing to understand is that with textiles, you want to make sure that they're clean as possible and dust-free, because dust will actually cut through fibers. The friction of them will actually cut through the fibers as they're being stored. Now the best way is to actually store these things hanging up. But if you don't have the space, a lot of people or a lot of preservationists will store these in specialized acid-free boxes with acid-free paper. Now, if you can't clean these, and I don't recommend that you do send these off to the cleaners, because I like leaving the stains on there because they tell a story. You can take a little small hand vac and vacuum some of the loose debris off. But as you can tell, this one does have holes in it, moth holes, and that's fine. That, to me, that just tells the story. Okay? They should not be exposed to any kind of light, because the natural fibers in these cottons and linens will sometimes fade and damage. Air conditioning range between, the humidity between 40 and 50% is ideal for storage for this type of material. And of course, you want to keep mildew and moths away as possible. Now, what I do with my children is, of course, I give them gloves. I give them something like this to learn how to store. But then I give them this. This is called a museum catalog record. This is from the National Park Service. And with this, they are going to catalog the item. They're going to classify it. Now they're also given just a pencil, no pen. You never want to use pen around an artifact. If the pin leaks or you get pin on the artifact, it's almost impossible to get out. Pencil always. Okay? Now the goal here is to never have them assume anything. Have them detail every little nuance, inside and out. Okay? What I also like to have them do is on the back, even after they photograph and everything, is to photograph even the rips, the tears, the stains, the holes, the missing labels. The repairs, the way things are sewn on, you can see the different color threads. Every little thing tells a story. And they will record all that information down. And there are two sides if they need it. Then afterwards, I'll have them simplify and summarize on an index card. Now, the index card, normally you would get these. These would be acid-free. And they would have a little string on them. And that string would connect to the button. But we are simulating this because of cost situation. And that would go with the item or inside the item for quick reference. Okay? Now, if we're going to fold this, you do not want sharp corners like we have here, because that can actually, over time, cause it to fray. You actually want to pad it, and they suggest with some kind of cotton or linen. Now, since we don't have cotton and linen here, we're going to use tissue paper like we would if we were wrapping a Christmas present. And again, if you're going to do this for real, you want to use everything that needs to be acid-free, because the acid leaking from it will actually damage the item. Okay, now what I've done already is I have folded it with a piece of simulated acid-free paper or linen underneath it. Now I'm going to flip it. I'm trying to do this one-handed, so please bear with me. Okay. And then I would take my acid-free paper, tissue paper. I would fold over one sleeve. You want to get out the wrinkles as much as possible. Okay, like so. And then fold over your paper to cover the sleeve, to protect it from the other one. And then you would just fold that one over as well, like so. And now it's protected. Now again, you would want to stuff your sleeves with some kind of protectiveness, especially here at these seams, because that is where you're going to have the most damage. Wherever you have a sharp corner is where your damage is going to show up the most, especially over time, depending on the storage situation. Now let me show you the container. Now, just like wrapping a Christmas present, you would have an acid-free archival box, specially designed for holding these types of items. And you would have an acid-free type of tissue paper. You would place your item inside with your identification card. Now it would be already affixed, probably to the buttonhole with the string. And remember, it would be acid-free. If it's not acid-free, what's going to happen over time is the acid from the paper will leak through and will stain and ruin the item. And then you're going to carefully, just like you would with a Christmas present, cover it with the paper to protect it. And then you're going to cover that with the lid of the box and then secure it. And on the outside of the box will be a label. And on that label, in pencil again, you're going to put the catalog number and a brief description. And that catalog number will come from this classification catalog record form. And this is how museums normally store their material when they don't have $1 million facility where they have special drawers where they can lay out the shirt completely, because that would be the perfect situation, is to lay it out completely. Please forgive our bells. I do work at a school. 1 second, please. Okay, once it's sealed and labeled, of course you would have a regular label on here that you could move in and out so you could reuse the box. Then you would take this to your shelves and store it. Okay? Now comes the fun part. Now we get to take the actual name of the person and we get to research it. And that's next on our list. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up. Tell me what you think. Tell me what I missed. Look in the description below. There's the links down there to all the materials you would need to help you catalog and store your collection the proper way.